Okay, before I go any further with this episode, I just want to give a quick shout out to all the guys who helped me out on Twitter as well as on LinkedIn when I was looking for more information around investing on the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange. Shout out to King Mare, one. Shout out to Tambo Gakuda. Shout out to Mpala School, ZSE Farmer, and then shout out to Kudzi Sharara. These guys helped me out on Twitter. For LinkedIn, shout out to Enrica Makulu. She helped me out, was even willing to inbox me some of the counters that she's invested in, as well as giving me which companies gave dividends part of last year. So thank you to all of these guys. Let's get back to the show.
Continuously improve yourself. Welcome to it. It's the Business Blunders and Brilliance podcast.
Okay, welcome to it. It's the Business Blunders and Brilliance podcast. It's me, your host, Archie Moyo, back again with another one. Today's a great morning. I've spent the past week going through the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange. Not exactly going through like all of it, but I've been trying to learn a bit more about the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange. I think I started dabbling in it a few years ago, but nothing serious. So obviously, a lot of people feel like because the Zimbabwe economy feels like it's tight, then most probably the stock exchange is also like a shitstorm, of which it actually isn't. The Zimbabwe Stock Exchange is not bad right now. And of course, look, I know investing isn't for everybody. It's not like the easiest thing to do. There's a lot you need to do. You need to keep up with the companies. You need to understand what they're doing. You need to sort of follow them, what their future plans are, before you can actually really say you're investing and this is what's happening. So, in terms of anyone who wants to start investing in the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange, there's several ways to do it. I think a few years ago, like it was a lot harder than it is now. There's currently two methods that I have used to first start actually actively trading on the stock exchange. And I say actively, but it's not like I'm trading hundreds of thousands of dollars or anything. It's just when I've got the odd bit of extra RTGS, that's where I put it in so that, I'm just putting some money in there. So the two ways that you can start trading on the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange, the first one is the C-Trade application. So it's CTRADE. It's an application where you can sign up, register. They'll help you get your CSD number with the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange, which is sort of the number that allows you to actually trade. I don't have full details. I should actually get someone who's like a pro at this to come in and talk about this. And you can also use ZSE Direct, which is a website. Also very easy to sign up on. You go on it, you log in or sign up, and then all you have to do is put in your details, upload a couple of documents like your ID, a passport size photo, as well as maybe a proof of residence or a bank statement. And they will set you up with whichever broker you want to deal with so that you can actually register and have everything done. I believe you can have everything ready within like a week or less. And that's generally how easy it is to start trading on the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange. Pretty cool. So, why would you want to trade on the stock exchange? I think historically, from a Zimbabwean perspective, as we have been seeing things fluctuate, go up and down, a lot of people find that there's a lot of benefit in saving their value through the stock exchange. Of course, there's times where it can feel like, will it really save my value? Like, for example, when things change from US dollar to RTGS, most of our shares change value to RTGS and not even like at the same price that they had before. But it's still not so much of like a bad deal. But right now, you can actually put in your money into the stock exchange, and that will actually sort of help you out in terms of retaining value. And should we ever dollarize again from like a global position, you should be able to see your shares also getting some value in US dollars, which would sort of also help you. Also, there's things called dividends. So dividends is when a company decides that, hey, look, we had a very good financial year. From our profits, we're going to share them with our shareholders, since shareholders are part owners within a company. So I was actually trying to look at how many companies in Zimbabwe actually gave dividends last year, because that's like a very important question. I actually felt like this list would have like a handful of companies, because I was like, no, Zimbabwean companies aren't doing well enough to actually give dividends. But I was surprised that the list was actually about 20 strong, if not longer, with some companies actually giving dividends more than once in the year. That is pretty cool, like at least twice, which is really pretty cool. So in terms of the companies that gave dividends, I then took a look at the list, looked at who had given dividends the most frequently or the most recently. So I had your First Mutual Properties, Mashonaland Holdings, Unifred, Zimbabwe Newspapers, Hippo Valley Estates, CBZ Holdings, ZB Financial Holdings, OK, Zimmer Holdings, Amigos. So this is not the whole list, but these are the ones that I looked at. They were like in my top 10, or is it? Is that the number? In terms of when I filtered by how recently they gave dividends to their shareholders. Now, I then went on further to look at, okay, so how much did they give in dividends? What is the current price for these shares? And what is the dividend yield per share in terms of percentage? So dividend yield is when you're looking at how much dividend they gave versus the price of the share. A lot of people use dividend yield to sort of decide which companies to invest in because they feel like, yo, if I buy shares for $5, for example, this year, and in that same year I get $2 in dividend, it means I've gotten 50% of my money back in dividend while still having the share that probably grew in value, and maybe I'll have the same again next year. That's like saying in 2 years the share has paid for itself while retaining value, which I can then sell at some point. So a lot of people like dividend yield because of that. Also, a lot of people also like dividend yield because they feel like it does sort of tell which shares will be giving them money frequently or more often. I don't know how true it is or how much money it is because some shares have got a very low value, and if you look at dividend yield, it comes off as very high when in actual fact it's just that the shares were very cheap and the dividend itself was a reasonable amount. So, looking at those corporates that I actually gave you the list of in terms of who gave dividends last year, First Mutual Properties dividend for last year was 60 cents, and the price of each share is $20.50. So, this is in RTGS. So, this means that their dividend yield is about 3%. Not bad, I mean, but for a share that costs about 20 RTGS, to get like 50 cents RTGS back, it's not so much, but from a maintaining value perspective, it's pretty good. First Mutual is also like a company that has been around for a while, that will be around also for a while. And then you've got Mashonaland Holdings. Mashonaland Holdings gave dividends twice last year, and the total dividend that they gave was actually $1.85. And the share price is $2.23. They gave dividends worth 83% of the shares last year. Can you imagine? This means that if you bought their share for $2, you got most of your money back through the dividends that they gave out throughout the year. And if you're a person who's going to put that money back, this is like the perfect deal. Next on my list was Unifred Africa. Unifred is the company that has companies like Swift. So Unifred gave one dividend last year worth $7.04, and their share price is $12. So they gave 59% return. And for me, this one is almost one of the best shares when I'm looking at it like this, because a share that cost 12 RTGS gave 7 RTGS back. It's like good returns, really. And then others who gave dividends last year was Zimpapers. They gave 2 cents total for the year, and the price is $1.06, so the dividend yield is about 1%. Hippo Valley Estates has a dividend yield of 1%. They gave $1.57 last year. CBZ Holdings gave two dividends last year worth 90 cents. The share price is 86, so dividend yield is about 1%. And then ZB Financial Holdings gave about 6 cents last year, and then the price is 40. Dividend yield is below 1%. OK Zimbabwe, this has been one of my favorites because I think they're one of the first shares that I owned. I had very little money and I was like, let me try the C trade. And through the years, I've always been surprised with a bit of money coming into my bank account in the form of dividends from these shares. So they gave 9 cents last year, and then this is 9 cents per share, and the price of each share is $16. And then we've got Zimbabwe Holdings, gave dividends of 0.002 RTGS, and the price is $2.28. Again, another dividend that is below 0%. And Mikos gave about 7 cents or 8 cents in dividend last year with a share price of 68. So a good number of these shares, people are doing different things when it comes to investing in shares. Some are investing in shares for the long term, for preservation of values, and then you've got some people who actually trade. So these are people who buy and sell shares on a regular, looking at the market when it's up and when it dips, which is pretty complicated. It's not something that I can do, not something that I've tried before, because I feel like I would really suck at it. But I would love to actually have someone on the show who kind of does that for the Zimbabwean market, and we could sort of get advice on maybe how to do it. I myself am not like a financial professional. I'm not an investment banker or an investor. So none of what I say is like financial advice. But I do think it's very important for us to start seeing the value in the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange and to actually start investing into the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange as well. I just thought I'd come out to you with this one. You can easily register, remember, on any of those platforms to start trading your stocks on the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange. These are companies that are giving dividends. Always do your research before you start investing. Pick out companies, who you also understand, who have values that look, this company is going to be there for a while, and that'll always work out for you. Thank you very much for tuning in to this episode of the Business Blunders and Brilliance Kaizen New podcast with me, Archie Moyo. Please remember to continuously improve yourself.
Continuously improve yourself.
This episode was produced, presented, and edited by Archie Moyo, drops by the iconic Crims, as well as music from Portugal The Man. Thank you very much for listening. Do remember to subscribe from wherever you listen to your podcast, and we'll catch you on the next one.